Do you feel comfortable talking in English?
Yes, I feel comfortable.
Very good.
But I may need like a second of whatever shit talk to start.
All right. Good.
You can start.
How's your day?
Great. I spent here a couple of hours. How's your day?
Good. I spent a couple of hours here as well.
Are you cold?
I am cold.
Great. Okay.
Told you it will be cold a little bit.
Yeah, but you know, when you're a woman, you have to look great. You cannot care about the temperature.
You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice weather.
Yeah, we have a sun, which is really useful.
It's not useful.
It wasn't there any.
It's the reason why we spent here a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Nice.
Luckily, I wasn't late, considering that everyone else was late.
Yeah, we
too.
were late this time.
Okay.
We're trying to shrink the time we are late each and every time.
Okay.
We don't
Can you hear
succeed.
us well? Hello there.
Is it good? Very well.
Okay. Should we talk louder or something? Okay. Great.
Good. You're a
Good.
developer.
Yes, I'm a developer.
And you're a developer of what kind of developer?
In my daily work, I'm responsible for Linux-based driver development. My team is focusing mostly on a kind of a performance feature of this driver, which is called XDP. It stands for Express Data Path. It's not really something that is separated out of kernel. It's a part of a kernel. It works a bit like a network stack skipper, but not really, because we still can use tools that are provided by the Linux kernel.
Okay, so you're focused on networking, basically.
Yes, mostly. But besides that, I'm also leading a couple of researches that are related to artificial intelligence, but mostly we're trying to apply AI-based solution into networking, because this is an area that it's not well known to the world. At least I think so. I know only 4 people who are into this topic.
That's exactly the amazing part about yourself.
Okay.
And this is the reason why you're here. Because this is not yet the part of your job scope, basically. The AI research, it's something that can be perceived as your development path, or something that you like to stick to because it keeps your blood boiling, it doesn't let you sleep during the night, right?
Yes, but it's really important to mention that Intel supports me very well on this journey. So it means that I'm not only spending my free time on those researches, especially when they are related to the networking. It means that my manager will do everything to help me to find my work time to work on papers, conferences, and he's even dropping any ideas and asking questions like, hey, have you seen this new idea of something in the hardware? Do you think that there is any way to offload something, maybe some AI features to this part?
So it sounds basically like you experience a lot of freedom being a developer at Intel, and it allows you to explore some other areas besides of your base job scope, right?
I mean, it's, we have to keep in mind that we work in R&D Center, which stands for Research and Development. We are not only developing things, but we're also responsible for research. So it is a part of my daily work, right? Doing the researches is something that I have to do. But what's different, I think, is that my team is supporting this AI-related things, and we are almost the only team here in Intel in Poland who is trying to apply the AI into networking.
How many of you?
For now, let's say 3, and I know the other 2 girls that
Okay.
are mostly doing the same.
All right. Who's more important from your perspective, an engineer or a scientist?
It's important to find a balance between both. It's not like...
But if you have some development area, like for example, neural networks or artificial intelligence, or even computing, like, for example, neuromorphic computing. Some will say that, some physicists would say that their research is more important from the perspective of the whole research area development in terms of the future of this area, than the engineers are, because engineers can be more focused on.
But without engineers, a company will not make a money to, support what scientists does. So they're equally important, in my opinion, especially those people who can connect the abilities that have both sides, right? If there is a person who is good as a developer, but who also have a scientist's mind, this person is able to reach definitely more than having only part of that skills.
That's a deep explanation, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
There's this immersive, very deep connotation which you cannot because of which you cannot separate those two worlds. Basically, research and engineering both need to coexist. Is that why you decided to become the part of R&D?
Not really, because when I was joining the R&D center, I haven't had any particular path in my mind, right? I knew that I'd really like to focus on development, on writing a code. I also have some experience with managing people and maybe a bit projects. So I was just trying what will work better for me. And I just noticed that I feel super comfortable when doing researches.
Why did you become the part of R&D?
That was not the question, but I remember the question now. So, not exactly, because when I started, I didn't know the path that I was going to take to go on. I knew only that I really enjoy programming and working in software. And during my 6 years in Intel, I also tried some managing in terms of managing people, but also managing projects.
Was that also the part of your job scope, or was it some detour that some managers allowed you to take?
No, I think that I can easily say that this was a part of my job scope.
Okay.
But I also tried POCs, which stands for proof of concepts, and I just noticed that I enjoy it even more than standard development work. And this is where I just decided to stay. I also didn't want to become like a 100% scientist, so a person who is focusing only on research-related work, because, as I said, I think it's important to stick close to the real business, to be able to dive deep into customers' needs, to see what they really want, what really may helpful. Without this knowledge, you can have a great research, but you never know if this will be useful for anyone.
Something that many scientists and from university areas and those people from research centers like School of Technologies, universities, they very often forget about that market reflection that the product that you develop or the part of your research needs to stick to very often. During my university journey, I encountered so many examples where some of the teams responsible for example, very innovative and cool-looking devices for blood measurements, for example, on the Department of Biotechnology, they were spending millions and millions of dollars for devices that were just, put aside after the development cycle. They're just collecting the dust right now. And that's something many people don't have the opportunity to learn during their university journey. And that's something very important to remember.
Yeah, I started my journey with Intel about 6 years ago, and my first assignment was just an internship. I mean, I was just working on a automatic documentation generation system, so it wasn't anything fancy. That I just knew during my university course that I don't want to focus on a paper, let's call it, or on a theoretical knowledge. I wanted to be as close to the business
Practical.
as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to get practical knowledge and practical skills. When I started working for Intel, I never, maybe except one research, I never used the knowledge that I got out there for my work. So yeah.
What's artificial intelligence?
It's something that humanity may be scared of.
Scared of?
Yes.
Like Elon Musk says.
Yes. And they may be right or not. We will not know, most probably. That it's something that can, for now, be really helpful. It's just a kind of a technology, I would say. It's just an approach to algorithms. Okay, so I'd say that in theory, deep learning is a part of machine learning, and machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence. From just a standard person level, it doesn't make any difference. For engineers, it does, but it's still all about algorithms. Sometimes you just know theory about them, and sometimes you just not really understand what's happening. I mean, sometimes you have to spend a lot of time to understand what's happening down
below.
Yeah.
In the deep.
Yeah. I was searching
In
a
the deep
particular
learning.
phrase of the down the hood. Down the hood.
Yeah. Is genetic algorithm the part of machine learning as well?
No, it's not.
So how do you define genetic algorithm? What's
Genetic algorithm is one of those algorithms that you know by your heart and you understand them, and they are easy to explain. You can have a decision tree that will explain what's happening out there. But machine learning is more about finding a description of an algorithm using definitely bigger trees.
Yeah. The reason why I'm asking you is that one of the researches that you performed have been based on genetic algorithm. Can you say a little bit about that?
Yeah, but you have to tell me which research are you referring to, because not only one was...
Yeah, so I'm referring to the optimization for 5G base stations.
Okay, so in this research, we had to focus on a precision time protocol adjustments. One of my friends, when he was digging around this topic, he noticed that there is a PI controller implementation in the code. And PI controller, it's you may know it as a PID, which stands for proportional, integral, and derivative controller. And he started to manipulating with its settings. And he started from a really, really, really weird numbers, like 200s. Not sure if you know the control theory. I did my engineer's degree about control systems. Mm-hmm. So my first thought was like, why did you decide to put 200 into proportional term? And he had like a zero knowledge about it. He said that he has no idea how to implement it. So I just gave him some numbers that were fine for me. You know, I have a quite large experience with those controllers. He reached better results in terms of adjusting the time, because precision time protocol, it's about adjusting the time between base stations for 5G.
So when you're switching from one area to another, it's the connection is switching between those two base stations, right?
Yes, you have to have time synchronized between those stations. It's a really high level sentence, but I don't think we have a couple of hours more to spend on explaining details.
It's too cold for that.
Could you repeat that?
It's too cold for that.
Yes, it's too cold for that. So he just asked me, where did you get those numbers from? And I said, it's just about experience. And he started to complain that it's unfair because he doesn't know how customer can know how to make it better. So I just said, give me a second, I'll write an algorithm. It's kind of random, but this will work. So in like a couple of hours, I wrote this algorithm. And later, one of our friends also joined us to build a script or maybe a tool that takes even more things into account. She's a mathematician, so she also implemented different ways to measure if it succeeds or not. And this is literally how it happened.
So that was some kind of optimization, right? Based on that genetic algorithm?
Yes, we were optimizing DPI controller settings for PTP algorithm, but for PTP protocol. But it's important that this optimization gave us up to 32% better results.
That's a great result.
Than the basic solution, the base one. And it's still a part of the Linux networking driver. So it's something that I'm around of all the time.
So many people associate AI with different kinds of optimization algorithms as well, and many people nowadays are trying to put AI mark here and there, everywhere, not necessarily where it belongs to. Would you associate your type of work as artificial intelligence or completely not, like from engineering perspective?
This particular research?
Because from the marketing standpoint, we could basically use...
Yeah, but are you asking about this particular
Yes.
research? So it is AI because it's genetic algorithm. AI is everything that is trying to behave like a human,
Yeah.
right? So it is AI. It's not a machine learning. It's not deep learning. It's not...
But it wouldn't pass the Turing test.
Could you repeat, please?
It wouldn't pass the Turing test. Probably not.
So I don't think it would, because the Turing test is not about numbers, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
It's about
It's
humanity.
not GAI.
Do you believe in GAI?
I like to ask Siri about the jokes, and then I cannot get up. And I even think they're funny. Maybe one day we will have something better, but I'm not sure if it will run the world.
Can intelligence be general? Do you think we can put such a word
Generally,
in
I
terms of...
feel intelligent, so I think that intelligence
Yeah,
can
but
be general.
are humans generally intelligent? Because what is
This is
what is
complicated
intelligence
questions.
yeah.
This is complicated question. I can give you an answer,
I
but we
know,
will have to
it's-
cut it off.
It's kind of philosophical, but most of the leading researchers like Yann LeCun or François Chalet, they do oppose the this base defense line of most of the researchers that say that are trying to find the GAI, and they're saying that human intelligence cannot be general because it's specialized in some form.
My question is whether we really need GAI or not. I'd
That's
really
another
like
question.
to see AI in some use cases that may help, like for medicine, maybe for law, maybe to help some people to remember things when they
So you
forget.
perceive AI as opportunity to do some...
I'd like to focus
goodness.
on this definition.
And
I'm not focusing on GAI because I don't think it's useful.
And you're focused on useful things.
Yes.
That's why you joined R&D.
Yes.
Good. AI for good. Once we are talking about AI for good, we need to mention one of your projects that you're leading. Here AI.
Yes.
What's it all about?
Maybe I will switch the topic for a second. Last year, during the lockdown, I wasn't able to continue helping less advantaged kids as I used to, because I used to be a volunteer tutor, and all the pandemic forced us to stay at home, and it was a bit hard to find any volunteering opportunities. But I noticed that one of my friends is organizing a machine learning related volunteering opportunity. It's called Detect Waste. For a couple of months, we were implementing the neural network that uses video to detect the trash and classify the trash in the wild. After this project, I just was asked if are there any topics that I'd like to, let's say, work on for a different volunteering project. And there literally was one topic that I was thinking about for a while already, which was related to the deaf people. So after the first project was done, we just created another group of women, and we started working on Here AI that is trying to tackle the problem of automatic sign language translation into the...
To help people communicate, right?
Exactly, especially taking into account situations like when someone is really sick and he goes to the hospital, there is no translator for deaf person. You know, you can try to sign, but no one will understand that most probably.
So how does it work, this translation? So it's based on neural networks, right?
It doesn't work yet.
Okay.
I hope it will work soon.
We're trying to persuade some investors potentially. So
Also, because I mean, we already have quite many investors. We have Dig for AI, who sponsored the infrastructure to train neural networks on. We have VoiceLab, who sponsored the project management tool, and other companies like one of the law offices that is taking care of all the law related aspects of our project, and other discussions are ongoing, so I cannot share more for now, I think. And I forgot the first part of your question.
So I'm the potential investor now. Can you convince me why is this hand sign translation different from the open source, for example, code that you can find across the internet, for example?
Okay, first of all, do you realize that you asked me the question that usually investors ask when the startup comes and asks for money? So did you realize that?
Which is?
Convince me to invest.
That's right.
Yes. So I'd like to make it clear that you're not a startup where it's a volunteering activity.
Yeah.
So it means that we don't make any money out of that. So
Absolutely.
I wanted to make it clear.
It's clear.
Okay. And why is it different? First of all, we're trying to translate the video into the Hamnosis notation, which stands for Hamburg Notification System. And having this, you'll have a base to translate any video. It doesn't matter which sign language will it be, because you have Polish sign language, German sign language, British sign language, American sign language, Australian sign language.
Sounds like you need a lot of data sets basically to...
And what's funny, Polish sign language is the biggest data set you can have. I mean, those data sets, they describe the video into the Hamnosis. So our solution will be universal, will help people not only from one particular country, but the other thing is that our solution will be upstream as an open source for free.
Okay.
And such solution doesn't exist yet.
So many people can contribute later on to that project.
Exactly.
Okay. Great. Fantastic. So you're planning to go worldwide, not just limit yourselves to Polish.
I don't like the way like you said, you're planning to go.
It's not startup.
We're planning to help worldwide.
Yes. You're planning to help worldwide.
Yes.
All right. You are the founder of this project?
Not only me. I give
How
an
many
idea.
people are there?
I would say that there are 6 organizers. Besides organizers, we already have about 9 volunteers, including deaf people, who help us to answer for the needs of the deaf community. Because not only at work I'm trying to focus on needs, like in case of Intel, I'm trying to focus on customers' needs, but in this project we're trying to focus on the needs of deaf community. And besides that, we are seeking for 7 other technical volunteers to contribute.
So you're recruiting right now?
Yes, right now, till the 1st of November, we are recruiting.
What kind of people you're looking for?
Machine learning engineers, enthusiasts on different levels of experience.
Okay.
We already have about 40 people who applied, and we have both students out there, but also teachers from universities, even from abroad.
Great.
Yes, I am surprised by that, honestly.
From which country? Can you say that?
From UK.
All right. Which university?
I don't remember. Okay. I'm sorry. It's 40 applications for now. So I'm just.
It's a lot of people
counting.
to manage. Do you manage this project daily,
Not
or
only me, right? There are 6 of us, 6 organizers, and we are sharing the responsibility. And everyone is extremely engaged. So it's not about me only.
Okay. Will this have some kind of application, like for a mobile app later on that you can use on your smartphone?
So for now, we are focusing on the machine learning side to create a backbone. Honestly, it's again a research, so we not really know if we will succeed, right? Because there is only one possible notation of the which is hamnosis, right? That no one tried to prove if this will work, if it's enough for machine learning. So the outcome not necessarily will be existing backbone that translates video into hamnosis. It can be a statement that it's too weak, this notation. We will see. Hopefully we will succeed. And then in the next year, we are planning to work on the second neural network that will be responsible for translating the hamnosis notation into Polish language. After that, most probably, we will think about final solutions such as application, but we may also let someone else do it because it's an open source, right?
Okay.
So if someone would like to, I don't know, legal stuff really well. I don't know if you can commercialize open source or not. Maybe in some circumstances you will be able. Then we are free to such opportunities.
Yeah, well, if an open source is a part of your commercial stack, you can definitely commercialize it as long as you have the appropriate SLA sign.
So it's like we only want to make sure that this will be helpful. We don't want the people make money out of that.
So what is the best way if someone would like to join your project or contribute in any other way outside of your team? Maybe another company that would like to join your research. What's the best way to contact you?
So there are companies that were already contacting us.
Great.
For example, on LinkedIn, we also have a webpage, which is www.hiroi.pl, I think. Yeah, most probably. Sorry, I don't remember that well.
We'll place the link under the video.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you can find there the contact form and also our email. In contact any of organizers or on LinkedIn, Gmail accounts. Everything is available on our webpage.
Right. So that's one AI for good that you're leading. But taking a step back a little bit in our conversation, what's that detect waste research?
Okay. So I will repeat myself a bit again. It's a neural network that uses a video to detect and classify trashes into wild. So for example, you can implement it using a drone and take this drone to the forest to find and classify trash. So it means that if there will be a company which want to clean a given area of a forest, they don't necessarily have to walk all the forest back and forth.
So it can work like on a drone platform, let's say,
Yes.
that flies along the road and is
Yes.
searching for different kinds of trash.
Yes. It can also analyze pavements, roads, whatever literally anyone can think of. If you have a city cameras, you can also apply our solution to analyze if there is a street that needs to be cleaned, and as a result, you can optimize the cost of cleaning.
And how accurate is that? Because there are so many different kinds of waste.
Can I point you to our article to read more?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's an article published on Arvix,
Okay.
Arxiv. So you can also link it down and
We will.
read a lot about our results. We have different circumstances, right? It's not like a one given number. The result will be different for pavement, different for grass as a to trzeba wyciąć. Jakie jest tło?
A background.
Background,
Yeah.
okay. So you will have a different results for trash that is placed in a different background, different numbers for pavements, for grass, for water, because we also had databases of pictures that were of trashes that were located under the water. So we also trained our neural network to recognize and classify those trash.
Oh, wow. And what kind of neural network was that? Because you're segmenting the parts of
Yes.
the picture and then you're detecting different kinds of waste.
Yes.
Right.
We tried to use many architectures, and again, everything is described in our article. It was almost a year ago, so I not really remember everything by my heart.
Okay. And this is something that is also open source.
Yes,
Everyone
exactly.
can just go to the
Not
repo.
everything is open sourced. We didn't upstream the weights of our final neural network because currently we are waiting for a decision in one of the journals if they would like to publish our article or not.
Is that Nature?
It's an international journal on waste management, I think.
Oh.
It's not Nature.
Didn't even know that there's some
There is,
journal. Is that scientific journal?
yes,
About waste.
management.
All right.
We went through 2 processes of review, and now it hangs with the status waiting for a
And for
decision.
how long do you need to wait?
I don't know. I wish I knew. We were
Okay.
waiting since, I think, August or maybe even July. And it's almost November, so it's a couple of months already.
Stressful?
Not really. Less stressful than this than this interview.
So you are a great research leader.
No,
You're a great developer.
I think that you have to ask people who I work with if I'm a great research leader or not.
But you're also a great artist,
You have to
drawer.
ask people who saw my paintings, for example, if I'm a great artist or not.
Because if you go to the website detectwaste.ai
Or AI.
or AI, there is some kind of a video where you do the how's it called?
Sketchnoting.
Sketchnoting. Yeah.
Yes, it's a recording of my hand drawing a story with music applied and a voice that I try to explain through this video why do we need such initiative, why do we need to invest in this idea, because when we were working on the detect waste, the first problem that we faced is that we don't have large enough database. So we organized a hackathon in which teams were implementing a mobile application that allows to take a picture of a trash in a while and segment and classify the trash in a picture. and we wanted to encourage people to use those applications to upload the video of trash to help us build better solution.
And that helped you to build the data set?
Yes.
Okay.
But what's interesting, because we also had an access to a large variety of existing databases that presents trashes in the wild, but the trashes that you see in Poland are very different than the trash that you see, for example, in Spain or in the United States. So we just wanted to have something that is also a bit more focused on Poland.
Regional.
Yes.
It's the case with most of the data sets. If you want to do, for example, an LPR or a base face recognition system,
Yes.
you may also encounter similar problems with.
This is something that was a bit worrying us in terms of Hero AI, because for now we have an access only to a couple of databases, which are German and I think Turkish. So those databases, they may not apply to people with a different kind of a face in a physical meaning of the sentence. But I hope we will get an access to the largest database, which is Polish. But we will also like to analyze, when having an access to those databases, how many people do we see inside on the videos, and we'd like to make sure that we have equal number of every gender representation. Yeah.
So you're trying to be as inclusive as it can be.
Yes.
Do you think AI is an inclusive piece of research and technology?
No, it's not. It's not.
It's not.
Have you ever tried to translate the sentence from a language that doesn't necessarily uses any adjective forms for the gender? Like, I'm not sure right now, but it might be Turkish, for example. If you will try to translate, let's say, it is a doctor to Polish, it will say, he's a doctor. If you will have a sentence, it is a waitress, that's gonna be she is a waitress in Polish.
So that's where the neural network bias is coming from in many cases.
Yes.
And this is most probably why models like GPT-3, engines like GPT-3 can be sexist or racist.
Yes. But I'm happy because Google recently fixed this bug, I'll call it a bug, in a Google Translator.
Great.
So for now, at least recently, I've seen he/she is a doctor, which is great.
One of the places where we can hear your story and we can hear about Here AI is Women in AI conference, right? Which your
No.
Women in Tech.
No.
How's it called?
It's not a conference. It's
an organization, right?
NGO, right?
Yeah, okay.
Non-government organization, yeah. So Women in AI is a non-government organization which is supporting women that do things in AI, but we are not only focusing on a technical side of artificial intelligence, we are multidisciplinary, so we also do a lot about the law. For example, we analyzed the white paper that was published by the European Union a year ago.
So you're focusing on AI ethics,
also
stuff like that?
We're also trying to talk a lot and let everyone understand what is gender bias, like with the example of the translator that I previously explained. We attend many conferences, we cooperate with many other organizations. Some of the people that are part of the Y community, they published a book about the law related things.
Okay, is it government-led organization?
No, it's NGO.
Usually? It's NGO, fully.
Non-government.
Okay.
Yes. We have people from large companies working there, but we also have students. For example, we have, I think, 11 or 15 women that work on that on a regular basis. We have a meeting every second week, and we discuss many things out there. But besides that, we have about 750 women who are a part of Women in AI initiative. They're just not that active.
Okay. How to encourage young women to become developers, engineers, or scientists?
I don't think that we shouldn't encourage anyone to be a particular thing. We should encourage people to do what they feel like doing. So I don't want to force anyone to join this path. I just want to say that there is no need to even thinking about not doing something that they want to do. Everyone should just do what he feels like doing.
I love your explanation.
Thank you.
I think I don't have any more questions to you. Maybe there is something that you want to tell with regards to...
I have one thing to say, and this have to be a part of the video. You cannot cut it off. So I really care about deaf people, so you have to promise me right now that you'll add captions to the video to let them read. Great, thank you.
Is there any possibility that we could, for example, use some part of your sketch video, or do you have any sketch video where you explain how the Hero AI software works?
Not yet, but I was planning to do it in following week or 2 weeks.
Great. Marta, thank you very much.
Thank you a lot. Great.